Oh.
Questions for our student athletes, Thomas Izagwa and Lindy Waters.
What was going through your mind there at the end when you made that layup and then got the rebound to really finally win the game?
Today we were just playing for just remembering the 10. That was our only goal for today. Just come out, compete as hard as we can, and then have in the back of the mind that, we're given this opportunity, and, whatever happens, happens, but leave it all out there.
Thomas, you guys obviously over the last couple of weeks have dealt with a lot. How big was this just for the psyche to be able to say, hey, yeah, we can go out there and win the game?
It was big, but Coach has been preaching for the past 2 weeks that we were right there. We were knocking on the door. And I think we broke the door down today, but we've been chopping wood, and eventually a tree falls, and today it fell.
What do you think was the major reason that the tree was able to fall today?
Well, we did well on the glass, and as Lynn said, we competed. Before the game, Coach told us win or lose to play for the 10. And I think today we played for the 10, and we honored them as best as we could by competing and playing as hard as we can. So I think that's what helped us win the game, is just playing as hard as we could.
Of course, there were you guys, and then you were making an impact out there, Cam, with the dunks. What was it like to see, with a small roster, several guys make big contributions like that?
It was huge. Everybody has a role to play, and today everybody executed their role to a T. When guys fall down, other soldiers need to step up and take the load.
For both you guys, you look at the Iowa State game, you look at the Bedlam game, the under 8 mark is kind of, for your roster size, that's kind of a crucial point. Were you conscious of it? Were you thinking about it? Were you reminding each other, man, we gotta have the same energy in the last 8 minutes? How much of that went on?
I remember Thomas. We came out of the timeout, and first thing he said was, right here is where we need to get better. And that's what we did. That's all we focused on, was those 8 to 4 minutes. Just playing for each other and then finishing the game.
And this is for both you guys as well. In the second half, you kind of did come out slowly, but then Isaac intercepted that pass and started looking down the floor and found Cam for the big slam. That seemed to really inject some energy into the game. Did that kind of help you guys get going after half when you see that and the crowd kind of gets fired up?
Absolutely. Anytime we make big plays like that, we believe that we have the best fans in the country. And not only do we get each other energized with those type of plays, but the fans were huge tonight with us and bringing energy and the whole 9 yards. But plays like that are backbreakers for other teams, and they give us energy.
Cam is going to come up with some highlight reel plays that get everybody off, but it looked like he came up with some big plays, and some of them were answer baskets. Talk about his play and what he did for the team.
He stepped up big time. We need someone in the paint that was able to battle along with Silva and their bigs. But I remember yesterday, Thomas was talking to him about how physical it was going to be, and all yours said was, you're going to see a different beast tomorrow, and just walked off. So he came in, he proved it, and we just got to keep it going.
How much does it help that you had to make plays and win it at the end? They were coming back. How much can it help you going forward when things get tight, that you did this, that you could do?
I think it was huge. Like I said earlier, it was like chopping wood, and when you see it actually come to fruition and all the hard work come to fruition, it's a confidence booster. So we know in close games in the Big 12, every game's close. We know that we've been in this position, and we have failed before, but today we did succeed, and we'll have that in the back of our mind.
Thomas, kind of off of what Lindy just said about physicality, they usually shoot a lot of free throws, and tonight they only got 9, and you guys shot 29. How important was it, especially early, to establish that you were going to be able to match their physicality?
Oh, it was great. Coach Coop gave us a quote. Mike Tyson is, once you hit them, the plan goes out, something like that. Don't quote me on that for y'all. I know it was Mike Tyson quote out there somewhere like that. But no, Coach Coop told us to hit first, and that's what we did. And we just kept on hitting, and we won the fight.
Lindy, Coach last Monday talked about needing you to be more aggressive the last couple of games you've done that? Is it something you've had to kind of make a conscious effort to do? Have you liked it? Just talk about that.
Whatever coach asks me to do, I'm willing to do it, whether that's, sit on the bench for 40 minutes or come out here and shoot 100 shots. Whatever he asks me, I'm going to do, and I love it. I love shooting. As you can see, me and Thomas, Splash Brothers. But, whatever the team asks me to do, I'm going to do it. So if they ask me to shoot, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to try to get as many good shots as I can. But at the same time, whenever I'm not going, I'm looking for Thomas, looking for Kurt, Cam, still being selfish.
You spread the floor. Did you have in mind you were going to take to the hole, the last bucket, or were you looking for three? What were you looking for?
I was looking to drive it. Hopefully try to get a foul called, go to the line, but at least try to get it up on the rim, and then make or miss, just get back and get a stop. Simple.
Thomas, pretty good early birthday present before tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the best birthday gift I can get, so shout out to my teammates and the coaching staff and all the fans that showed up. Big party. It was a big party today at 1.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, there you go. Everyone has a plan to punch them out.
Coach, we'll let you get it started with your thoughts on today's game.
I'm glad that one's over. Brutally honest. Wasn't the most fun game I've ever been a part of, but I'm really proud of our players. I mean, it's been a hell of a 2 weeks for them. Not just not playing as well as we wanted and being in some close games and not being able to finish, but obviously all the other stuff off the court as well. So to see us respond the way we did, I thought our crowd was great. Obviously not as big as Wednesday, but the energy in the building was just as good. And so we're happy to put this one behind us and put it in the left side column and move forward.
Thomas and Lindy both mentioned pretty early on that they were playing for the 10. Do you think all the guys had that in their minds out there today?
Yeah, we talked about it. It was a big deal. It's they should, and we always will. So absolutely.
So the other day, you guys were even or within a point with 5 minutes to go, and they scored 10 in a row to win. Today, you were even or up or down, and you guys had the big run. What was in the final 5? What was the difference?
So it's just it's an ugly part of the process. I mean, you have to fail sometimes in these moments before you can learn how to have success. And it's no fun. It's no fun for me because in my mind I know we're capable of doing it. They just have to figure out where the mistakes are first before they can figure out where the answers are. And today's win was a lot of what happened on Wednesday. We came in and we watched those few moments where the game kind of got away from us and those small plays that we didn't make. Thought our defense was really solid. We obviously switched our defense quite a bit to keep them off balance. But really the key was the way we battled on the glass. They still kicked our tails. We did a decent job on Silva. He still had a really good game. But we just competed for 40 minutes. We competed literally to the last play, and we never let the rope go today.
You were plus 20 in free throws, and they didn't attempt more in the first half. What was sort of the key for you guys to be the more physical team?
Well, both teams are, again, part of it is a product of the way we've changed. I mean, we can't really afford to foul. And we survived the first half with Cam having to try to keep him in rhythm, knowing that he would have to play by putting him in for a couple minutes at a time. But we're just playing a lot more zone. I mean, that's just the flat-out truth. I mean, and maybe that's something I need to look at more moving forward, even when we have more people, is because we do foul a lot. When we fouled a lot more when we were playing man than we have these last few games.
But even on the offensive end, it seemed like you guys were more physical tonight, getting 29 attempts.
Yeah, again, part of it is the defense. Our defense is similar to their defense, and it's it's a foul-prone defense. It's very aggressive. I mean, there's always an idea that you can take the other team out. And so we just try to take advantage of their aggression by maybe driving the ball a little bit more, throwing it inside a few more times. I thought Lindy was terrific driving. I thought Ice was really good, probing and transition especially, which led to some more advantageous opportunities for us.
Coach, the guys said that they were conscious of the under 8 timeout and reminding each other they had to have that energy to finish the game. During the game, were you, because it looked like you used a couple of timeouts like right before the media timeouts, almost like that extra boost. How conscious are you of trying to nurse the gas tank?
Yeah, something I feel like I didn't do as good a job of on Wednesday. And I talked about it, I think yesterday, with the guys, that I have to probably be a little bit more liberal using those things and making sure that our guys can get through the game. We don't have a ton of bodies, so it's not like I can just sub guys out and then get them back in. We got to use the timeouts we have, and maybe I don't have as many late in the game as I would like, but you got to get yourself there, and then you got to make sure that your players are fresh and ready to go make plays, and they did today.
How proud of you were you of the effort in the last eight minutes or so? Because it was a difference in the game.
Yeah, I mean, the effort was there the whole time. The execution wasn't. We had some lapses again offensively, which happened to us a lot. We kind of get stagnant, but our defensive intensity never let up. Now they had a couple guys jump up and make some really hard shots. I can still remember Lawson's layup late, and I'm like, wow, how'd that go in? And Coach Saar makes a couple free throw jumpers, and you're like, man, he's option number 4 in this offense right now, and and he's not going to miss either. So what you do is you look out and you see the demeanor of your players on the court. Those guys never flinched. The huddles were tight. They kept communicating, and they kept believing that we could win the game.
How important was your tonight? You had +18 and he was on the court. It seemed like he did a lot.
I mean, that number doesn't always tell the whole story, but tonight I think was pretty indicative of why we were able to win. His presence around the rim, defensively, blocking shots, his ability to battle with bigger guys for rebounds. He's got good quickness, so he can chase balls even when they bounce away. And then he's coming along offensively as well. His game is evolving. It's a credit to him. It's a credit to our assistant coaches of watching film with him. And you can visibly see the maturation of Yornay throughout this season. And in some ways, even though Ice is maybe a little bit more up and down, but only because he has the ball in his hands a lot more. Those guys are growing up right before our eyes, and it bodes well for our future.
Thomas kind of compared today's win to chopping out a tree and finally seeing it fall in the locker room. What kind of sense of freedom could you maybe see from them that they could win?
Yeah, I mean, it was a message that, again, just kept being delivered over the course of the last few weeks, even when we were, those 2 4-minute segments in Iowa State, you come back feeling tough, like, man, we just let another opportunity get away. Well, we didn't really give ourselves a chance to make a couple plays late, and we did the same thing on Wednesday here. But, again, man, these kids are resilient, and they just, again, they never let go of the rope. They kept pulling, and eventually we were able to pull it over the line.
Wednesday night, you talked about some plays, especially the one down the stretch where OU won that loose ball, ended up Bieniemy hitting that big 3. It seemed like tonight your guys were laying out every time. Do you feel like that mentality took a step forward?
No question. And again, it's not that they didn't want to do it Wednesday. It just wasn't fresh in their minds, and it didn't have the same. They didn't have the same sense of urgency. They didn't want to lose that same way. I should say that. And so they made those plays. They made the sacrifices to get those loose balls, and we ultimately made enough shots to keep our distance.
You mentioned at the beginning this one wasn't a very fun one. How odd was it, pregame watching South Carolina, that uniform, everything else?
Yeah, I mean, it's more than that. Obviously, I went there, but I know everybody on their staff. I know their families. My wife knows their wives, and so you never really want to compete against people you know that well, because there are no ties in this game. Someone wins, someone loses. It's really that simple, and I'm glad this one is over and we can all move forward, and I can cheer for South Carolina again.
Like in the second half, it seemed like the team kind of came out to a little bit of a slow start until Isaac picked off that pass and found Cam for a pretty big dunk that seemed to ignite the crowd. Did that kind of light a little fire under everybody and kind of help you guys get going in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, it was always something in my mind. You know, how are we going to score? How are we going to execute? They take you out of everything. I mean, they make it hard to make passes. They deny you, and they make you make plays. So really, the play was out of the timeout. We just had Ice drive and get to the rim. I was hoping he could make a layup, and he did. And that kind of broke the ice for us. And then we're able to let that lead to stops. Because when your offense bogs down, a lot of times it affects your intent, your focus defensively. So we needed to get a basket, and then we needed to get a stop. And once you have both of those things happen, you know, naturally you got to start feeling better about what's going on, and it continues. So I thought Ice's drive and finish right after that first time out of the second half was huge to get us going again.
You've played 3 games now where you're switching defenses a lot more. What do you think you've kind of learned about doing that?
That my kids are capable of a lot more than I probably gave them credit for early. And maybe they're more capable of doing it now than they were back in November. But you know, the level of trust that I have in them to be able to execute different things, a lot of times on the fly. A lot of times, again, at this point, it's not like you have a whole lot of time to prepare. You know, we didn't think about South Carolina until Thursday afternoon in terms of preparing for them. So you got really a day and a half with not a whole lot of bodies to really go physically at it. So it's a lot of film, a lot of mental preparation. And again, credit to our vets for setting the tone. They led us, no doubt, but our freshmen are coming along as well. You're starting to see, you know, again, what the pieces can look like as we get whole at some point again.
You mentioned getting whole. Trey Reeves broke his foot. How much of is that an emotional kind of thing that kind of hurts?
I mean, I slept about 45 minutes last night. My throat was killing me. I couldn't swallow. I didn't even know Trey was hurt. We were ending practice on Thursday, and I was huddling the guys up, and I knew Trey hadn't been there. I thought maybe he went to use the bathroom. And I look over in the corner, and he's standing there with a boot on. I'm like, what the hell happened to Trey? And when did he get hurt? Because we really didn't do much on the court. But I think it was something that had been nagging him. And again, it's part of the story. It's part of the story. I'll continue to keep notes and write a hell of a book when this thing's over.
Like South Carolina's guard play wasn't very good. Frank said it was pretty disjointed. What were y'all doing that was able to keep them off balance like that?
Well, I think one of the things, you know, familiarity. I've watched Sonny Gravett for 4 years. I know he's probably the primary guy. You know, those guys have played in some tough environments. I thought the crowd kind of kept them out of rhythm, our changing defenses. Lawson and young kid, man, Keyshawn Bryant, they're going to figure it out. And Frank will make sure that that happens. Just today, they couldn't get it going, and that happens. I've been there, but I know Frank Martin. Whenever they play again, I think it's against Tennessee. I wouldn't bet against them.
Anything else, guys?
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.